We're back with our third devlog. I'm Tormod.
And I'm Edvard.
And we're working on our game called Bit.
We begin where we left off last time, with our angry fellow. Now, as I continue, I notice I have a slight problem with my workflow. That is that all the work I do on the right side has to also be repeated on the left side. Double the work is of course time consuming, so to avoid this, we use a mirror.
Looking good.
We split the guy in half and add the mirror. And now, it's time to form this guy. Yeah, a bit ugly, gotta be honest, but let's just leave him like this for now. We'll come back, I have to deal with another issue as of now. If you remember, in our previous devlog, our current weapon models doesn't really look that convincing. So to fix this, I'm gonna make a weapon model for each archetype, starting with the daggers. When pushed in Unity, it already looks good, but with the textures, it looks even better. I repeat this for all the other archetypes: greatsword, katana, spear, and sword. And once they're all in, I would definitely say it's an improvement. To make the movement feel a bit more responsive, I made directional animations for each archetype as well. Now, you may wonder why the brawling archetype doesn't have a weapon yet. And it's simply because we want to wait until we've redone the hands. We've looked at them, and as of now, we think they're a bit ugly.
Now back to the castle level. I wanted to work on the look of the terrain. So first I tried a grass shader asset that I had. And it looked good, but it was really laggy on our big terrain. So let's try the classic way of painting textures. Here you see me painting the broad strokes. Now let's get these ugly grid textures out of here. Much better. It still has room for improvement though, so we plan to add foliage, trees, rocks and more in the future. Next I wanted to add a biplanar feature to our terrain shader. Now it automatically puts ground textures on slopes and cliffs. In our first devlog, you saw the initial version of the simulation transition, but it was ugly. So I added better colors, emission to the synthwave grid, and made it spherical. Then I added support for multiple spheres of influence, and lastly I made it work on terrains. The before and after is pretty insane. Now we return to the castle, where I'm adding the simulation shader to everything to see how it looks.
Nice.
In order to have the skybox be affected by the transition, I made a skydome. This one looks way too blocky. Hold on. Oh yeah. Now I'm adding water to the scene, as the castle is supposed to be surrounded by a moat and not a dried up donut. Then I realized that the water shader would need to support the simulation effect as well. So I refactored the simulation shader to allow it to be easily added to any existing shader or shader graph. Now the water is also affected by the simulation transition. The terrain was looking quite barren, so I wanted to add some trees. These trees have a shader that lets them sway in the wind, which I would also have to modify. So after adding the simulation effect to the tree shader, it looks alright. The tree and the water shaders will have to be redone in shader code, as shader graph doesn't have the same amount of control, but we'll do that another time.
Now let's get back to our angry guy. I did some work off camera, as I forgot to record. But if you look, you'll see that this guy has gone from looking dumb to being the coolest kid on the block. So we move over to Mixamo, and here we can upload our character and let Mixamo do the rigging for us. And this saves us a ton of time. And also with a simple click, we now have a functional rig in Blender. Thank you, Mixamo. And we'll use some of the basic movement animations from Mixamo as well. And now we can put the model in Unity and finally promote the enemy. And also, slicing now feels really nice. After some Unity setup, the enemy can finally navigate while also looking at you. And it feels a bit menacing.
Huh?
Next, in Blender, we animate the attacks of the dagger. We'll of course be using the animation curves. With the attack animations back in Unity, our angry fella can finally unleash his fury upon you. Or try at least. Now, that's it for this devlog. Thank you so much for watching. Please tell us what you think in the comments, and subscribe to stay tuned for the next devlog, which I'm pretty sure will contain some pretty juicy stuff. That's it for us. Bye now.